If I had to give some advice to help another person in my hearing loss musician storyline, I'd probably tell them you gotta stick it out. It's gonna get better. You're gonna find what works for you. You fall back down, you gotta get back up. My name's Finn Gomez. I'm 16 years old and I live in Wyandotte, Michigan. My family is my mom, my dad, my twin brother Riley, and my younger brother Rowan, and my two dogs, Frankie and Oscar. My childhood growing up was a fun one. Having a twin is kind of interesting. It's been fun. I've always lived here in Wyandotte. We're a little bit south of Detroit, so it's been a lot of experiences. I've had a fun childhood. So my hearing loss is moderate in my right ear and moderate to severe in my left ear. I've had hearing loss since I was born. It wasn't noticed until I was about second grade, when I was given hearing aids then. My hearing loss at the time was, my left ear was significantly worse than my right ear, but it was a surgery that went wrong and my hearing in my right ear dropped down to about where my left ear is. I've always worn Ardeos up until I got the Marvel about 3 weeks ago, and so far the Marvels have been great. I love the streaming capabilities of them. The sound quality is just so much more clear. Even my voice sounds much more natural and true to actually how it sounds. So far I can't believe just how great everything sounds with the Marvel. It sounds real. And the AI that works in them to detect certain voices and loud noise, it's just been wonderful so far. Like, I'm working in a smoothie shop and there's blenders going, there's music playing, and I can turn that setting on and I can hear people no problem. Growing up with hearing aids was interesting to say the least. I never really got separated because of them, but there was always kind of that stigma surrounding them. Like, my family, they were super supportive of me. They've always been. My friends have always been great about it, but there were always, those kids along the way that just had to say something, and that was hard for a couple when I was younger. Nowadays it's much easier. I feel like my hearing aids have made me who I am. If I had a magic cure-all for hearing loss, I wouldn't take it. I'd rather have hearing aids, I'd rather have hearing loss, because I know it makes me who I am today. Everyone's different in every other way. It's not like there's anything wrong with me or better. It's just who I am. So I accept my hearing aids. I know that they're a great thing in my life. I've gone through a lot of different things. I'm a musician who can't hear. That's kind of rough. I think it's more just, you gotta find that creative solution to it. If there's a problem, you find a solution to it. You just gotta keep going, keep finding the next thing to solve. And you'll find what you can do for you, what works for you. You'll find something out there. So this is my regular marching horn. I use this in marching band, and we compete in state MCBA. So we compete all over Michigan in our high school marching band. This one's been dinged up a little bit, but this one can be afforded to fix, that sort of stuff. It's a student horn. This is my Selmer 24B pre-K modified, Selmer Paris. So this was built in 1955 in France and shipped over here. It's pretty old. It's a really nice horn. I use it every day when I'm off in the marching band season, and symphony band, jazz band, when I perform with the DSO Jazz Civic Band. So this is more of my main horn. This is the horn I'll be using tonight when I play at Cliff Bells. Right now we're here in Bella's Kitchen in Allen Park, Michigan, making Detroit Salsa Company salsa. So Detroit Salsa was founded 2 years ago, and during class I came up with this idea for a business, and eventually I decided let's do it for real in my grandma's kitchen one day. So my dad, being a designer, he designed our labels for us. It featured Detroit with the city skyline in the background. But basically it's run by me, my dad, my mom, and my grandma. We all work together to get the salsa out. We sell at about 8 different stores right now, all across the Downriver area, and we're branching into Detroit as we speak. But my dad, he's always been the go-getter entrepreneurship-wise. He had a business for a while where he sold something called microgreen, which is fancier garnishes for dishes. My dad's just been that go-getter in my life, and I've always wanted to be like him. What I enjoy the most about the salsa business is just being able to work with people and being able to give a product that people love, and that every week there's someone tell me, wow, that's amazing, that's such a great story, I'm always looking for it, but it's always sold out, I need some more, how can I get it? Those kind of things that just make my day. So I first got into music in 5th grade. I was over a different school district. I started playing the cornet after I failed to turn in the permission slip on time to play percussion. I started playing cornet, and then from there I played trumpet the year afterwards, and it just kept growing from there with the help of all my directors I've had over the year. I first got into music because it was something else to be able to do during the school day in 5th grade, so I was like, all right, I'll try it. And then over time, it's just become something that tied together my life. It's given me an escape. I've met some new friends. It's been something that's just given me more purpose. The biggest challenge of being a hard of hearing musician is probably being able to understand everything happening around me. One of the problems I have, for example, in jazz band, I can't even hear the bass player, and that's essential to keeping time, soloing. The bass player ties together the band. It's very hard to be able to hear certain aspects of the band. With the hearing aids focusing on the dominant speaker, it's hard to differentiate between different sounds in the band or the director. So it's hard hearing a fully blended ensemble. It more sounds like one unified sound that does different sections. So to work around the problems of not being able to hear certain sections of the band, we've used things with technology-wise and personal metronome-wise. Like I make sure I'm always on top of it, counting and making sure I'm watching the conductor's hands. I think it's very important that you always have an internal metronome just going, just so you know exactly where you are, be able to follow along even if the conductor stops conducting. We've also explored some routes with technology. In certain jazz band and symphony band, I use the Roger Select with my Compilot and my hearing aids, and I'm able to hear the bass player a little bit louder than I normally am, and that helps me when I'm soloing. I can switch over to the bass player, stuff like that. I have a couple role models in the music world and my real life. One of them, Wynton Marsalis. He's a jazz legend. I've seen him only one time, sadly, but he's such a kind, humble man. I've met him. He's a fantastic player. And I really look to him with a lot of awe and inspiration. But in the real world, both my parents are, of course, my inspirations to keep going every day. My dad is always helping me, anything I need. He'll get it to me first thing I can. My mom's the first one to if I ever have a problem, she'll be the one that helped me figure it out and fight with me to get it. Some of the role models are both my band directors, Mike Noble and Mark D'Angelo. They've both helped me with a lot with hearing in the music world. In middle school, Mike Noble helped to get me into the first stages of getting hearing equipment in the classroom and figuring out how it works that way. He's also even helped me now into high school, trying to get me the right equipment that I need and working with me. And then Mark D'Angelo, my high school band director, is also an amazing guy. He's helped us so much with being able to do everything and working with the microphones in the classroom too. The one quote I follow every day in my life is, I came, I saw, I conquered. I like to make sure I make a statement, I am who I am, and I do my best.